This is the morning of the 28th of July, 2024. Article on BBC. No big surprise. Put up by Paul Adams, BBC diplomatic correspondent. Barbara Plett-Usher, BBC News Jerusalem, and Ido Vok, BBC News London. Title: Israel hits Hezbollah targets after football pitch strike kills 12 young people. Let's listen to the short 1 minute and 28-second clip.
So this is where the explosion happened at about 6:30 last night here in Majd al-Shams. You can see the crater where the rocket landed. It blew this fence right out, and you can see children's bicycles and scooters all among the wreckage here. And also, if you look at the fence, you can see shrapnel holes. And over in the corner, there are little pools of blood that they've tried to clear up, and there's blood also spattered on the walls. There is a bomb shelter right here next to the football pitch, and we're told that there was a siren moments before the explosion, but that no one had enough time to react. This is a part of the world where a conflict with Lebanon, with the Hezbollah fighters in Lebanon, has been raging ever since the war in Gaza began in October. Lebanon is just over the mountain there. This is Mount Hermon. Lebanon is really close. The Israelis say that the rocket that was fired came from a position not very far in that direction. Syria is not much further in that direction. It's a very sensitive area. And at various times over the past 9-10 months, people have wondered, feared, that this simmering conflict might explode into an all-out war. Israel has threatened a severe response in the wake of what happened here to the children here. The question is, when and what form will that take?
Israel says it has hit Hezbollah targets in Lebanon after 12 children and young adults were killed in a rocket strike while playing football in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. The country's Air Force has blamed the Iranian-backed militant group for Saturday's strike on the Druze town of Majd al-Shams, but Hezbollah has strongly denied any involvement. Okay, so then who would have launched the rockets? Early on Sunday, the Israeli Defense Force, IDF, said it has conducted airstrikes against 7 Hezbollah targets deep inside Lebanon territory. It is unclear whether there were any casualties. The rising tension have the potential to trigger an all-out war between Israel and Hezbollah. Their forces have regularly exchanged fire since October 7, when Hamas attacked Israel, triggering Israel's military offensive on Gaza. Saturday's bloodshed at the town's football pitch was the deadliest loss of life in and around Israel's northern border since October. Fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, which has previously been sporadic, escalated when the militant group fired rockets at Israeli positions the day after Hamas attack in solidarity with Palestinians. Israel's foreign minister released the identities of 10 children killed in Saturday's strike, saying they were aged between 10 and 16. An 11th person was named, but no age was given. Details of the 12th casualty were not confirmed. Verified video shows crowds of people on a football pitch and stretchers being rushed to ambulances. Majd al-Shams is one of 4 towns in the Golan Heights where about 25,000 members of the Arab-speaking Druze religious and ethnic group live. On Saturday, thousands of people gathered in the town for the funerals of those killed. See photographs of the kids. Hezbollah spokesman Mohammed Afif denied responsibility for Saturday's strike in the Golan Heights. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed retaliation immediately after it happened, saying the group would pay a heavy price. Hours later, the Israeli Air Force, IAF, said it had struck terror targets, including weapon caches and terrorist infrastructure overnight. Before reports of the strike impact emerged, Hezbollah had claimed responsibility for 4 other attacks. One was a nearby military compound on the slopes of Mount Hermon, which lies on the border between the Golan Heights and Lebanon. The base is around 2 miles from the football pitch. You see a map of the area. IDF spokesman Daniel Hagara, who visited the scene at the airstrike, accused Hezbollah of lying and denying responsibility for the incident. He said the rocket was an Iranian-made Falak 1, owned exclusively by Hezbollah. Yeah, and made by Iran. I wonder if that, what was it, $1.5 billion that Obama gave Iran in cash, paid for some of these weapons. Our intelligence is clear, he said. Hezbollah is responsible for the murder of innocent children. Sheikh Mafal Tarif, the leader of the Druze community in the area, said the horrific massacre had crossed every possible red line. Meanwhile, Iran warned Israel that any military adventures in Lebanon could lead to unforeseen consequences, said Nazar Kanafa, a spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry, according to AFP. Yeah, that's going to cause Israel to shake in their boots. The airstrike prompted Mr. Nafa, who was visiting the United States, to return home early. His plane landed in Israel on Sunday. Netanyahu is back in Israel. You see a series of photographs. International leaders condemned the strike and cautioned against escalation, but differed on who was responsible. The U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, there's a piece of work for you, Anthony Blinken, told reporters on Sunday, every indication is that indeed the rocket was from Hezbollah. He said U.S. stands by Israel's right to defend itself, but does not want to see the conflict spreading. Well, it's going to spread. Lebanon's government also issued a statement in response to the strike, saying it condemns all acts of violence and aggression against all civilians and calls for an immediate escalation of hostilities on all fronts. This was the same Lebanon that sent rockets into Israel after October 7th. Targeting civilians is a flagrant violation of international law and goes against the principles of humanity, the statement said. The Lebanese foreign minister, Abdullah Bohama, told the BBC that he did not think Hezbollah carried out the attack. Why don't you just leave it with he did not think and leave it at that? I don't think Hezbollah would do it, he said, explaining the group usually hits military targets, not civilian targets. But he added, it could be a mistake by the Israelis or by Hezbollah. I don't know. Well, maybe it was designed to hit a military target, but it went off course. We are talking with Hezbollah because the victims are Druze and Druze communities here in Lebanon cares about them a lot. We are asking Hezbollah not to retaliate at this present time, Mr. Babas said. The United Nations statement said maximum restraint was crucial for all parties, as the risk of a wider conflict would engulf the entire region in a catastrophe beyond belief. It's just a matter of time, folks. I mean, that's what's going to happen. In Majal Shams on Sunday, where bloodstains remained on the AstroTurf pitch, locals expressed grief, anger, and worry. Fighting back tears, Agat Abdul Assad, 26, from a nearby Boka, told the BBC she feared a major escalation. I'm afraid of the consequences of an all-out war, she said, adding that a lot of people could die. Most Druze live in northern Israel, Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria. In Israel, they have full citizenship rights and comprise about 1.5% of the population. Those living in the Golan were offered Israeli citizenship when the region was annexed from Syria in 1981, but not everyone accepted. Druze in the Golan can still study and work in Israel, though only those with citizenship can vote. Male Israeli Druze are required to serve in the army. They are the largest non-Jewish group in the IDF. The vast majority of the international community does not recognize Israel's annexation of the Golan Heights. Well, do you think Israel cares that the vast majority of the international community doesn't recognize Israel's annexation to the Golan Heights? Because if you do, you're delusional. I'll attach the link. Look at it, pass it along, and thanks for listening.